The Rabbit on the Moon. A short story. Silene lives with her mother. I see her every 6 months, for a week. They had to take a social worker to court recently because he became creepy. At some stage, since last I saw her, Silene has discovered the colour black and nose rings. When she was little, I could hypnotise her into giggles with my silly tales. Now we were waiting for her mother, sitting in the car, watching the moon rise over the city, and my story of the rabbit on the moon met with gothic adolescence. "I hate the rabbit on the moon," said Silene, pouting. "Do you always have to be so surly?" I said. "I don't know," she replied. "You don't know much, do you?" At some stage, our scope is diminished by the group of peers, and even though we think it is a dawning, it is a moonrise into early womanhood and all those curly complications. There is not much to say about it at the time. "Nope," she admitted, "but I hate the rabbit on the moon." "What's to hate?" I marvelled. "I hate your stories." "But this is a good one, The Rabbit on the Moon. It doesn't even have a moral. It's not trying to teach you anything." "That's good, because I don't want to learn anything." At some stage, the vast question mark of life terminates, it seems, into a full stop or a long ellipsis. "Because you know all you need to know already," I suggested. "I don't know." "But you do know there's a rabbit on the moon." "No, there's not." "There is. You can see it." I nodded from our car to the aforementioned moon. "That's silly. It's craters," she said, sniffing. "Craters shaped like a rabbit, at least from where we're standing." "Stupid." I built Silene a doll's house once, for all her dolls who were named after famous people. One of her dolls was named Kate Blanchard. "And you know there are 8 immortals," I said. "No, there's not." "Yes, there is. There are 8 immortals. I'm not going to name them. They know who they are. But there are 8 of them." "You're making this up." "No, it is written." "No, it's not." I wanted to say, "You know, Tolkien made it all up. There wasn't really a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins," but I thought it would be cruel. Silene didn't twitch or fiddle. She sat unnaturally still. I think she practiced being a zombie. "There are 8 immortals," I went on, as the moon continued doing what a moonrise does, growing fat. "And the thing that keeps them immortal is the elixir." I thought about this for a moment and felt it necessary to add, why anyone would want to be immortal when life is so boring, I don't know. "I don't," she said. "What? Want to be immortal? Good. You're miserable enough with life as it is. Imagine if you had to put up with this forever." "Oh God," she moaned, just thinking about it. "And imagine if you had to put up with me telling stories forever. Or imagine, as some suppose, immortality is just an endless replay. And we've been sitting here with me telling you the story of the rabbit on the moon, wondering where your mother is, forever and forevermore. Please." I knew that'd cheer you up. "I hate the rabbit on the moon," she said again. Her mother described her as a handful, but a handful of what? "I am the gruff voice. I am the patriarchal system. I am the father who was never there. I am the boundary to be pushed. I am the stereotype who stereotypes everybody." "Once," I began, There was a rabbit, a fox, and a monkey. Why is there always a monkey? She interjected. I hate monkeys. They're diseased. All right. Once there was a rabbit, a fox, and a cat. What sort of cat? Don't be obtuse. A cat. All right. A rabbit, a fox, and a cat, and it was full moon, which is auspicious for witches. And the rabbit, the fox, and the cat determined that the full moon was an auspicious time to do good deeds, and for human sacrifices. Then, that day, they met a monk on the road. He was hungry and starving. Here was a good deed they could do. So the fox went off and fetched a chicken, and the cat ran off and fetched a fish. But all the rabbit could fetch was grass. Of course. So, when the monk lit a fire to cook the chicken and the fish, the rabbit, not having anything else to offer, jumped into the fire. Stupid. I wanted to bring her into line. I wanted to say, don't think you can escape from my stories, young lady. You're not too old to sit you down and tell you the story of Uncle Loomis in World War I. Do you want me to tell you that one again? You like rabbit? I asked. Dunno. You've never eaten rabbit. It's a clean meat, lean. Jews don't eat it though. Why? Not sure. But it's one of the unclean meats to them. Stupid. At some stage, the dolls, including Kate Blanchard, are packed away and are never seen again, and the analogue fails, and the world calls, and is a dark and frightening place. Silene was a pixie. She was born with pixie ears and eyes like a little hoot owl. Just then, of course, I say, the monk reveals himself to be a celestial being, one of the big ones. The big ones? Well, I don't know what they're called, but he's not just a monk on the road, he's a celestial being. A god. If you like. I don't like. A god. And being so impressed by the sacrifice of the rabbit, he declares that the smoke from the fire will waft up to the moon, and the rabbit will live there forever. It's a stupid story. The rabbit isn't going to throw itself onto the fire. At some stage, black becomes the colour of every mood, and black attire is made for every occasion. All the merry garments are gone. It is cool to grumble. I don't see the slow transition. I see the sudden rupture. I am the evil authoritarian. It is people like me who ruined the world. The only authoritarian thing I want to say is, lighten up, girl. The gravity. I used to tell her the story of the cow and the fiddle, the one where the fiddling cow jumps over the moon. Never once did she think it was stupid. There was no question of whether cows could play fiddles or even jump that high. It didn't enter the equation. It's a story about self-sacrifice, I explained. I thought you said it didn't have a moral. It doesn't, except to do good deeds on the full moon. Why does the monk have to be a god? She demanded to know. Because you never know who a stranger might really be when you meet them on the road, I said. It could be an axe murderer, or a god. I'm betting on the axe murderer. At some stage, the enchanted bunny of childhood grows facial hair. The incident with the social worker needed explaining, but Silene's mother was vague. He had, in some way, been unprofessional or perhaps obsessive, and he accessed Silene's files illegally, as I understand it, and kept contacting her even after she was no longer his client. He organised some work experience for her at a florist, which apparently didn't go well. "Let's just call him a monk," I said, "and he has the power to transform the rabbit into the rabbit on the moon." "Stupid." "Which is the rabbit you can see." "No, I can't." It was right in front of our eyes. "There's a rabbit, and it's using a mortar to grind up herbs to make the elixir for the 8 immortals." "I can't see any rabbit grinding herbs. Sorry." "You will though, when you get over it." "Get over what?" "Get over thinking you've only got grass to bring to the table." "Do I?" "The rabbit gives what it's got and dies. At some stage we stop living in a story and dwell in the dreary desert of facts." "But the rabbit uses up all the herbs, you see," I proceed. "The moon wanes. During the new moon the rabbit goes and collects new herbs, then starts grinding them all the way back to the full moon. And that's why there's phases of the moon. I get it." We took a pause. "Oh," I said, "and this is a jade rabbit." "A jade rabbit?" "It is written." "That doesn't make any sense." "Does it need to?" "Yes. And if Jews don't eat rabbit, that doesn't make any sense either. But everything you think and do makes sense." "I don't believe in jade rabbits." "But why was this something about which to be assertive?" was the question. "You know what they say," I said. "If you don't believe in jade rabbits, you'll believe in anything. The moon's a big lump of dead rock, isn't it?" "You know it is." "You know what the astronauts found on the moon? Jade rabbit." "That's nuts." "They did. But if the jade rabbit doesn't grind the herbs, there's no elixir for the 8 immortals." "You live in a fantasy." "Or a story." "I hate your stories." "The choice anyway is between a fantasy and a bad gothic novel." "She does well at maths, Silene." "And the rabbit becomes a celestial being, one of the big ones," I say. "I don't know what they're called. Is that what you call a bodhisattva?" "I don't know." "You don't know much, do you?" Her mother, on the other hand, was an educated woman with a good career, health administration. "Anyway, it's a Buddha. It becomes a Buddha, the rabbit, which is a boon and a happy conclusion to the story." Now the moon was up in the eastern sky, full throttle, pearly, and the rabbit Buddha was pounding herbs in his pestle. "I thought there was only one Buddha," Silene quizzed. No, there are lots of Buddhas, including the jade rabbit. It's not just people who can be Buddhas, animals too." This gave her cause to think. "That makes sense," she said eventually. "At some stage, our blessed narratives grow pimply. We stop believing in big things and have to insist that the world makes sense again."